Hello everyone, Negative Zero here. Do you have a lot of transmog items and are trying to figure out which ones are worth keeping and which ones are just junk that you should vendor? Well, today I'm going to walk you through my steps on how I decide if an item is worth keeping. To start, I use 3 values from Trade Skill Master to help me determine what is worth keeping and I should just vendor. Number 1, price. I look at both DB Market and DB Region Market to get an idea of the price. Depending on your server, these values could either be really close together or really far apart. For example, on high population servers, DB Market tends to be lower as there are more sellers of the item, while in low populations, DB Market tends to be a bit higher. Now, these are all generalizations, and there are obviously exceptions to this rule. Number 2, item level. As the item level goes up, so do the posting costs. Posting costs are based on the vendor sell price, and the price increases over the expansions. The posting fee is 60% of the vendor price for 48 hours. So let's take an example. If you reposted perfectly every 48 hours for 1 year, for let's say a vanilla item whose sell price is 1 gold, it would cost you 109 gold. While a Legion item whose sell price is 30 gold would cost you 3,285 gold. As you can see, the higher the vendor sell price, the more expensive the item needs to be in order to make it valuable to sell. Finally, I look at sale rate. The sale rate is also known as the DB region sale rate in Trade Skill Master, is a value that ranges from 0 to 1 that tells you the percentage chance that an item will sell on a given day. If the sell rate is 0.1, then you have a 10% chance of selling that item on a given day. So after 10 days, it's going to sell, right? Well, not quite. After 10 days, there's about a 65% chance that the item is sold. Think about it like a coin flip. It's a 50% chance that you get heads on any given flip. However, you could flip the coin 7 times and still only ever get tails. Same concept. There's no guarantees, just averages. Now, there is a special sale rate of 0.01. That's the minimum value for the sale rate. That means anything with 0.01 or lower is listed as 0.01. So something could have a much lower sell rate and still be listed at 0.01. So you need to take that into account when you're determining what value to sell. To aid myself in evaluating transmog items, I've created a filter for Teabags. Teabags is a bag add-on that allows you to see all of your bags in a single window and provides grouping and filtering of items. The filter I created creates groups based on the values from Trade Skill Master. My add-on is linked in the description below. So let's turn on my filter and look at some examples. I'm going to open up my bags, and I'm going to open up the Teabags configuration window next to that. I can then enable the TSM groups filter in the Teabags window, and then switch to the filter configuration. I've configured the add-on to group items by DB Market with a minimum price of 50 gold. Now I look at my bags, there are groups with 500, 250, 100, 5k, 10k, and etc. Looking at the 50k group, the one item in there is the Vial of the Sands. If I then move over to the 1k section, we have a Shadow Weave Mask, which is currently going for over 4k on my server. The add-on also supports non-price based values, so I could switch to DB region sale rate. And now the groups are based on the sale rate. The 0.01 items, 0.02 items, and so on and so forth. Where the 0.02 items are going to sell much quicker than the 0.01 items. And then if you look in the 0.1 group, you'll see the Shadow Weave Mask. That one actually has a sale rate of 0.25, which means I have a 25% chance of selling it on any given day. I can now switch the item level to see the item level for the items in my bag. In this case, all of the transmog items in my bag are below level 70. Finally, I also have the number of expires available to me. This helps me identify items that are not selling. And items in the 100 plus group, I might just want to send those off to my other tunes and use them as transmog myself, or just vendor them. Now that we have ways to look at all this data, I'll tell you the methods that I use to determine what transmog to sell. First, we'll start with vanilla items. If the item has a sale rate above 0.01, then my minimum is usually 1,000 gold. When I was just starting out, my minimum was 150, but as my auction house has filled up, and I've been increasing my minimums. Note that I said usually 1,000 gold. If an item has a really high sale rate, say 0.2, then I might lower my minimum on a case-by-case basis. If the item has a sale rate of 0.01, then my minimum is 2,500 gold. I usually keep an eye on these types of items, and if they haven't sold after 100 or more repostings, I'm just going to consider vendoring them. For TBC and above, I will not list anything that has a sale rate of 0.02 or less. Anything that has a 0.03 or more, I look for prices in the 5,000 to 10,000 range. A lot of this is going to be based on the vendor sell price and what my expected profit would be if I sold it in the 90th percentile of time it would take to sell that item. Again, if the item has a really high sale rate, I make exceptions to these rules. And that's it. These are the basic rules that I use to help me sift through hundreds or thousands of transmog items that I have. It's useful for my farming tunes as well, as I can prevent the items from even making it to my transmog tune by vendoring them right when I get them from the farming. So with that, what are the rules that everyone else uses to determine what a good transmog item is? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I look forward to seeing what others use to sell their transmog. I am Negative Zero, and thank you very much for watching.